Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
Folks. Welcome to Into the Twilight.
Woo!
If this is your first show, I'm sorry. You should pause here and go back to the beginning, and we will see you in anywhere from 2 weeks to 2 years when you catch up.
Yeah.
So
Have fun.
have fun. And I'm sorry.
Yeah. Whoops. Oopsie.
Whoops. And I'm sorry. For everyone, though, that is caught up, hello. Hi. Welcome to Into the Turbulence. Welcome
Ooh.
to Into the Tumultuous Times.
Yes.
Welcome to... fuck, what's another T?
Comedy of threes, baby. You got this.
Hey, producer, what's another T? Great, thank you. Welcome to Into the... fuck, hey, sorry, what was another T? Welcome to Into the fuck, that's not... hey. Welcome to Into the...
Any word with a T. Any word. A single word.
Into the Tongas.
Ooh, yes. Very fun.
Because I like Tonka trucks.
Yeah, sure.
And I miss them.
Love it. Yeah. Where are they?
Desperately.
What happened to them?
Hey, what's your T word? Call in. Let us know. We do have a Google
Hey.
Voice.
Oh shit, we do. Yeah, you can
We do.
fucking
We forget
text
about
us
it
and
a
shit
lot,
and
but
call
we
us
do.
if you want. Yeah.
I would, though I do care about your T word quite a bit, I would actually more so have you use our Google Voice to let us know about your Twilight story.
Yes.
Mainly because I'm desperately curious about what it is. And getting emails about those brightens my day about those quite a bit. So that's always nice. Cody,
Yeah.
how the hell are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm here thinking about Stonks.
Okay, listen. Same.
Listen, I saw Wolf of Wall Street. I'm ready to trade. I'm ready to get in there.
Same. I worked in finance for a couple of years. I know what's going on.
Yeah, I am a finance bro. I can't explain what the fuck is going on with the stock because my brain is small.
Sure.
But Reddit bros have been fucking with stock bros.
Yes. It's class warfare, baby.
It's class warfare, and they're making people really get fucked over by making GameStop much more valuable than it is, which is very funny. It's just been a very good day for memes. I love that everyone's just saying stonks. That's very fun. It's always fucking funny to hear stonks.
Especially when it's relevant. Like,
Yes.
it's always funny in general, but especially now that
Yes.
it's relevant.
It finally has like it's back in like its prominence,
I
you
know.
know, like we're here. It's stonks time, baby. The amount of iterations I've seen the phrase "stocks is white man's astrology."
For real.
So that's, you know, my mind's on the money, you know.
A couple days ago, when I saw GameStop trending, I thought it was an honest-to-God glitch. Like, I thought it was
Yeah.
a joke. And then I asked Chris yesterday why it was happening, and I've never seen him light up like that before.
Yeah.
Because usually when I see him on Reddit, he always describes it as more so like he's using his white male privilege to, like, make Reddit stop sucking as much. And I'm like,
yeah.
I'm not going to ask about that. Like, I don't give a single
He's
fuck.
taking it down from the inside.
Exactly. And I'm like, yeah, I trust you. And he was like, no, let me tell you what's happening. And he was like, I got AMC stock. Like, I got it. And I was like, okay, well, when it all works out, we're going to buy a zoo. And he was like, yeah, lol.
Can't wait for you guys to be big ballers.
And then when I woke up this morning and I saw that AMC, I like smacked him awake and I was like, can we get a zoo? And he was like, I don't know. What are you talking about? So anyways, I don't know if we can get a zoo yet, but I will fucking keep you updated, I guess.
Yeah, here's hoping.
I know. Anyways, I love that they're making fucking rich people not rich anymore.
Yeah,
So,
it's very fun.
just for the fucking joke of it, you know?
Yeah, just for the laugh.
Right.
I'm a big fan.
Exactly. I'm okay. I'm just fucking living.
Sure.
I want something like that to happen, but within my industry. I think that a lot of people within my profession have been for about a year, but are starting to more so lately notice like, oh, it's interesting how there is still a continued push for learning to happen. When lives are not being considered. Interesting.
Huh.
That's really interesting. So that is a choice that's being made, especially when like a lot of the coworkers that I know are at pretty high risk. I am disabled. Mm-hmm. And you know, a lot of the thanks are going to students and to parents. And you know, not to staff, but that's, you know what? Hey, fuck us, you know?
Cool.
Just, you know, it's all good. My happy thing, though, this week was just the reminder that Uptown Girls exists.
Oh, yes.
The song, sure. But I am specifically bringing the movie into the space.
Yes.
I love this movie. There was a thing going around on Twitter pretty recently about like the first time that you felt yourself represented in entertainment. And there's a lot of ones, but I tried to choose one that wasn't sad.
Right.
And Uptown Girls was the first one where I was like, yeah, actually I feel that quite a bit. And I love this movie not just because of the fact that I felt very seen as a young child, but also because it has my love, my life, Brittany Murphy in it as well. Just so at her like peak bimbo as well.
Yes, for real.
And I appreciate the dynamic between these two amazing actresses. This movie just brings me a lot of joy. And I wanted to just give it some love.
Hell yeah.
I have tried several minutes now to go. It took so much of my effort not to just start this recording by just screaming this news.
Yes.
Could you do me the absolute honor of talking about our most important piece of news this week?
God. It is an exceptionally good Case Du Corner this week.
What we've been waiting for.
We've been waiting. We have our official first look at Case Du as Princess Diana. And folks,
oh my god.
That photo, you could not tell me that is not Princess Diana.
They look the same.
It is unreal. Like, we talked about this when this news first came out, that, like, definitely we could see it and, like, that would be great casting choice-wise. But, like, seeing it, that is unreal.
You could not tell me that is not her. Like, and there were so many people when they saw that casting choice that were straight up, you know what, I'm gonna say it. I don't care that you broke your elbow. That were just straight up haters.
Yeah. They were sipping on that haterade.
Exactly. Sure. I saw so many quick pivots today when this came out.
Yeah.
And I think that not only is that just a testament to the costume design and the photography in this, but I think it's because I think that obviously brings to light the natural talent that Kristen has. Because that has to exist, right, to bring that to light. But, like, god damn, like, the bone structure is there. Like, her eyes and her pot, like, and it is frustrating to me that this continues to happen where she is doing a character actor moment for folks to have to be reminded how talented she is.
Right.
And I'm just like, just know automatically.
Yeah. What more do we have to say?
Exactly. This makes me even more excited to be able to get more content from this. Yes. Because just looking at this, I can tell that they are putting in the money and the effort that this deserves. And I am incredibly excited. It gave me a lot of joy today.
Yes.
And these are the kinds of things that, like, usually happen on a Thursday news drop. And so I am incredibly thankful that we got to be able to talk about it today.
Yeah.
So thank you, E.T. Canada, for being able to share this news with us. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Just gonna make that my background on every
just
device
real
I own.
Quick.
Just real quick.
Just real quick. We just have a quick piece of news here.
Ooh.
Just a real quick detour. It's been a minute since we've talked about the actors on actors moments.
Yes.
We had quite a few good ones, but there has been a new one, specifically with Eddie Redmayne and Jamie Dornan, who are both in the process of highlighting not their best movies.
Maybe not their finest works.
It's not their finest of moments right now.
Yeah.
But the reason why I wanted to talk about this is not about 50 Shades at all, but specifically just so I can give our dear listeners a mental image of the two of them doing pottery. And specifically, I don't know if you had the chance to watch. If I remember right, actually, I don't know if you recommended the show to me or someone else, but there's like a show on HBO about pottery.
Oh, yes. I have seen that.
Quite the horny show.
Yes, it's a horny art, certainly.
It's quite the sexy art.
Yeah.
So if you need some mental imagery, Jamie Dornan is talking about, and Eddie Redmayne is talking about this as well, just a good pottery moment between these two men.
Bros. Ugh.
Yep. When they were, just as they describe it, being fun employed when they just made pottery together.
Yes.
And they describe it, as being a high point in their lives.
Ugh.
And I think that is very pure.
Yeah. Very
between
pure.
the two of them. So, love that. Love two guys being dudes, making pottery.
Yes.
Giving Seth Rogen a run for his money.
Yeah, for real. Watch out, Seth. I will say, too, the author of this, Rebecca Alter, in her Twitter bio, she writes for Vulture, and in her Twitter bio says Vulture Voltori. So, like, Rebecca,
Whoa.
if you...
Anytime.
If you want... if you want, come on down. That's all I'm saying.
The price is right, Rebecca. Come on down. Anytime.
Yes. Yeah.
Ugh. God, I missed that show. Fuck. Our last piece of news here. Just a quick cinema blend moment.
Yes.
The
blend is back.
The blend is back. It's just a quick moment with the Queen of Lies.
Yes. Our favorite scammer.
Our favorite queen of crime. Yes. And the fucking prince of nighttime TV.
Uh-huh.
Just talking trash about each other.
I love it.
Dakota Johnson was on Fallon fairly recently. If I'm not mistaken, she's promoting a movie that she's in. I think it is called The Lost Daughter.
Sure. Yeah, that sounds right.
And in this, Jimmy is asking whether Twilight fans should be Team Edward or Team Jacob. And naturally, Dakota, even though she has lied before.
Even though we cannot trust anything.
Even though she has lied and deceived us before, says, Team Edward. So.
Great.
Settled. Done. Great.
I love that. I'm glad we finally got her opinion on this.
Exactly. Settled. Stephenie Meyer can now rest easy at night, knowing that her AU Bella Swan is on the right side.
Yeah. I appreciate, too, that the Cinema Blend piece does have a poll at the bottom, and one of the options is just Team Alice, so I'm going to vote for that right now.
I'm glad that they finally recognize that is an option they should be including.
And Team Alice is doing better than Team Jacob in this poll,
so... Yes, it is.
Gay rights.
That's because I have been refreshing it and voting.
Yeah! I have 7,000 tabs open, just all with this poll.
like it is a fucking Disney Channel poll back in 2008.
Yes.
We have a question here from our unofficial intern that connects this quite well. Would you like to ask it?
Absolutely. Taylor Brown says, do you think Bernie Sanders is Team Edward or Team Jacob?
Since you are a resident expert on this, what do you think? Also, my cat has jumped up to share his opinion as well. Spooks, what do you think?
Listen, he has something to say, and don't silence him. Let him speak.
Spooks, what do you think? Is Mr. Sanders Team Edward or Team Jacob? Interesting. Interesting now that this is when you go quiet.
I don't necessarily think he would be Team Edward, solely on the fact that the Cullens are for sure in the 1%.
You know what? I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. I don't think he would really vibe with that personally.
I agree.
Or professionally.
Or ethically.
Right.
Just, I think that he would have a couple of questions about how the Cullens are making their money.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So I agree. I think that this is a really important question, Taylor.
It is.
And yes. I'm glad that you are finally asking the important questions.
Finally, someone around here is asking the hard-hitting questions. All right.
I think that, honestly, Taylor, I do find it interesting that out of these options, you also have not included Alice on here, which is interesting.
Telling. Very
telling. Telling. Interesting. Interesting. I think out of all of these that Bernie, Mr. Sanders,
Senator Sanders,
that Mr. Senator Sanders would be Team Golden Onion. Final answer.
No, that's fair.
That
You're right, and you should say it.
He would be Team Bella and going to college.
Yeah, okay, for real though, it's like, maybe you can change the world. I don't know. Maybe that's your truth. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I have never been to Vermont, even though in my 6th grade state presentation that we had to do, I thought I was doing Connecticut because of I was obsessed with Gilmore Girls at that time, but I accidentally chose Vermont. And so I do know a lot about Vermont for someone that thought I was doing it on Connecticut because I'm a dumb bitch who has ADHD. And so I do actually know a lot about Vermont Senator Mr. Sanders.
Yeah.
But I think that he is Bella Swan and Team Golden Onion. Final answer.
I think it's good.
Okay.
Senator Sanders, open invite. If you're
please don't. I think I would just start crying. I don't do well with older men talking to me.
That's fair.
I have grandpa issues.
Yeah.
We have another question here from Sarah, who asks, if you were to recast the host, what cast would you use?
Oh, man.
Obviously, leg casts.
Nice.
Cast iron, probably.
Yeah, just all cast iron pans.
Honestly, the drama, the clanging,
yeah,
the sound,
the intrigue.
It would all be so hot in the desert for cast iron pans.
Yeah. Yeah, they'd all be sizzling.
In the caves, it would be so loud when they're moving. Sarah, I'm sorry. That was an awful joke.
Bada-bum.
I want the cast of the host and the cast of the Chopped All-Stars to swap.
Oh, yes. I do love this.
Mainly because I see Scott as Jeb for some reason in my head, even though he's not old. And I see, is it Ted?
Yeah, Ted Allen.
Yeah. I don't know why, because I know that that's not the body that Melanie has, but the idea of Ted being Melanie really speaks to me for some reason.
Yeah.
And I think that Alex Garnaschelli could play a good Jared.
Ooh, yes. You're really just expanding the form and what it means to recast something. I love the creativity here. I love this.
So, Sarah, really I know that that's not what you were hoping for.
Yeah. I'm fine with any replacement.
But I just think that if you could for one moment consider the cast of Chopped All-Stars as the host and just think about it and mull it over and maybe dabble in some fan fiction, then maybe that's what you're looking for.
Where's that slash fit?
Right, exactly.
Where's that?
That's what I'm saying. We have not so much a question here, but rather a family update.
Ooh.
From our mom, Kelly Beck.
Right. Yes.
And this is a shocking update. Specifically within the depths of YouTube that I frequently forget exists, which is the section of YouTube that's just YouTube music.
Yes, yeah.
Which I don't know.
It's a dark space.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I don't venture into.
Yeah, not really.
This is the email from our mom, Kelly Beck, which says, I was looking for lullabies on YouTube because my baby was fussy and I was running out of songs to sing. And I found this. I thought you should know. This song, which our mom, Kelly Beck, linked us to.
Ah, bless her heart.
Which is on YouTube Music. But it is the version of 1,000 Years by, of course, Christina Perri. But
our Lord and Savior.
Exactly, thank you. But it is the lullaby version.
Ooh.
I don't know why, but when I listened to this earlier at about noon, I started crying.
Yeah.
And that's not new. This song does make me cry often.
Yeah, in any form.
But when I listen to it, the idea that people sing songs to babies makes me emotional. But the idea that I don't know why, but I was crying in the club. And I thought that was very pure. So thank you for that update.
Wow, love that.
You know, you have to indoctrinate them young. Otherwise they'll be resistant. So I appreciate you for getting in that Twilight spirit young and early.
Yes.
We need that new generation.
Right. We can't let it die.
Right. I completely agree. When we last spoke about the host, we had an incredibly angry Jared, which is not new at this point.
Right.
But it is worth updating. And then we had found out that there was a search party out for Wanderer. Specifically, the seeker that Wanderer has, who is dressed in all black. Chapter 19 starts off where we left off last time, which is Jared being like, "Rawr, tell us what you know." Rawr.
I'm angry.
I'm angry. I'm Jared. I'm 30 years old, but I'm a piss baby, and I stamp my feet when I'm angry. So this chapter is the first time that Jared and Wanderer have talked to each other, which is, one, wild. But two, it's also the first time that Wanderer has been able to speak to Jared and Ian without Melanie interrupting, which is interesting. Because we see a side of Wanderer that we haven't before, which is that they kind of like word vomit, especially because we start to notice that like Wanderer sees Jared, who to them is like objectively hot, and they just can't stop talking. They're like, "Oh no, I need to stop talking," and I just cannot do that. So that is interesting, especially because Jared is right now anyways the kind of person who would rather get information out by brute force and is like, "I'm gonna punch this information out of this alien." And Ian is like, "What if we ask?" And Jared's like, "No, am angry." Especially when Jared is not taking the time to figure it out, but Wanderer is very fine just like answering questions unprompted.
Right.
Which is fucking frustrating. The other thing that is odd about this too, is it throughout this has not been clear what pronouns Wanderer uses. Mm-hmm. Wanderer is a species,
right,
who is inhabiting a human body.
Yeah.
So I have preferred not to use it.
Yeah.
Because, like, they're inhabiting a human body. So, like, not cool. Doesn't
Right.
seem right to me.
Yeah.
It is very clear in these first couple pages that Jared and Ian do not understand pronouns. And
Yeah. Yeah.
Ian is like getting close of in the sense of like, dude, like, I don't know if she's comfortable with this. And Jared's like, I don't think that it gives a fuck, Ian. So like,
Ian. It's not a person, Ian.
and it's like, you're getting so close. What if you asked?
Right. Oh, we're like right there. We're almost there.
Oh, you're so close. And like, Stephanie doesn't say because it's Stephanie.
Right.
But also, like, Wander is a soul that is inhabiting a human body. So, like, it just doesn't seem grammatically correct.
Yeah.
So, it's just very odd at this first part. So that is just a great thing to start this off on. Then continuing this interrogation, Jared, to me, Stephanie's not doing a great job of making Jared a round character.
No, not at all.
He comes off as very flat and like, I am an angry man. All I do is fight for what I want. And so when Wander is explaining, like, here is the Seeker who is in charge of me. The Seeker wanted you and Jamie, and I tried not to lead her here because I don't like her. And Jared's like, what do you mean you don't like her? Aren't you supposed to like everyone? You weird alien creature. And it's like, my dude, what do you mean? Like, aren't you like taking these creatures apart? Like,
right.
What are you talking
You're
about?
not on some high and mighty, like, noble shit. Like, what is going on here?
Exactly. And also, the idea, like, if it's been, I don't know if they've mentioned how many years at this point, but it's been a significant amount of time. I would assume at this point that you have realized that this species is not perfect. They have come in and, like, invaded a human, like, environment.
Yeah.
They are not perfect. So,
right.
it's just, there's not a lot of critical thinking that is being experienced by Jared here. And so that is a bummer. Especially when, as Wander continues, like, yeah, like, I started to figure out that the Seeker isn't really all that I, expected and I have experienced before. And, like, I didn't really want to tell her because I don't give a shit and she's not that cool. And when Jared's like, well, why didn't you? And Wander's like, well, shit, I kind of backed myself into a corner here. Because he's naturally going to ask why, and I don't really want to tell him that I love him, because, like, that's going to come off as a trap, which is fair. And so I get that point. But then he asks, too, and he's like, well, I don't really know how to explain it to you, Jared, but, like, this Seeker is kind of annoying. She's not really like all of the other people that I've experienced before. And so Jared, because he's a boring person, is like, well, what about you? Are you like other souls? Wink.
Right. Ding.
And at this point, because again, Wander has not spoken out loud more than just a couple of words to Jeb over these past couple weeks, and has gotten their shit rocked. Like, this has been an incredibly traumatic situation. Living in a small cave, like, has not been a great thing. Is just exhausted at this point. And this is a question that requires, like, a huge amount of response. And so Wander's like, I can't. Like, I just cannot deal with this anymore. And so just decides to, like, close their eyes, put their hands over their head, in between their knee, like, cannot do this anymore. And so, naturally, Jared's like, I can't do this anymore. These are all lies, and is telling Ian, like, this is all fake. It's all fake.
Right. I'm sorry.
This is all a trick. And it is, frustrating to watch this conversation between the two of them, especially because Ian is starting to realize and experience guilt, and especially recognizing, like, watching Wander flinch, seeing those black marks.
Right.
Whereas Jared is like, I don't feel that way. She's not human. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Just because, like, she's not human, like, she wouldn't feel pain. Why would you think that? It's like, God damn it. Like, stop. This is so
Guys,
bad.
Please. Step back a little bit. Just a little.
And it's just embarrassing, I guess, to see. And so eventually they end up leaving, and when Jeb comes back, convinces Jared to go on a supply run so that Jeb can kind of, like, talk Wanderer down and use Jared's bedroll to sleep on so that Wanderer is not curled up in a ball in a cave. It's awful.
Not really doing so hot.
No.
You know? Not a great situation.
Awful things. And Jeb is able to finally, like, calm Wanderer down a little bit, being like, this has all been really exhausting. We are glad that you are here. Thank you for like changing our lives when you showed up here. And now that Wanderer's adrenaline is starting to come down, recognizing that what Wanderer is feeling is a broken heart, which is really sad.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that Wanderer had to look Jared in the face and be like, yeah, I don't love you. And you wanted to punch me in the face multiple times.
So not the sexiest. Not my favorite love language.
I want to do everything for you, but you think I am trash. So cool. Good things. Good start to all of this. So great.
Yeah.
That is where this chapter ends. All good stuff. Lots of happy things.
Everyone's doing great right now.
All great.
Really thriving, I would say.
Chapter 20, though, is a little bit better. It seems chapter 20 feels like more of a repeat of last week in the sense of we get more of a Cribs tour. But rather
Jeb is back. He's like, let's go, baby.
He is.
I want to show you the sights.
It feels like we got half of the cave last week, and now we're getting the other half this week.
Yeah.
And so Jeb was like, you know what? Jared's gone. Fuck him. We're going to give you a tour today to lighten up your spirits. We're going to get you up. We're going to get you walking.
Yeah.
And we're going to have some fun. And so that's what he does. He, like, takes Wanderer around and shows off all of these fucking, like, magic caverns that have gardens now, and they're sprouting carrots and spinach. And they're somehow, like, done with magic mirrors and shit. All this, like, wild stuff that Jeb has been figuring out for a long time to figure out how to set up gardens in caves, which is wild. Right. So I don't know how he figured out how to do it, but sure, cool, love that. And he just keeps taking.
I'm excited to see how this like looks in the movie too. We're like,
same.
Like architecture of it all is kind of spaced out, you know,
because
like,
the way that they're
it seems like a very behemoth of a thing.
It feels huge, and that seems
massive.
So difficult from a logistics level to like actually find. So I agree. I'm very curious about how they are actually going to get this to work out. It seems like they hit the jackpot with these caves, especially in the sense that it doesn't seem like Jeb like physically manipulated the caves, but rather that they just existed this way, and that there's like lots of different passageways, lots of different like little bits, like little bitty caves that they use for storage and housing. And he takes Wanderer to one, and he's like, cool, great. See this green screen? See where it has cherry blossoms? This is your new crib. Get excited. It's already furnished. And Wander's like,
Hey.
sweet. I love it.
Hell yeah.
It looks great. Thank you for this. And then she starts to like peek in a little bit further and is like, there's stuff all over. And Jeb looks at Wander and is like, oh, well, yeah, because the guy is on a supply run and he'll be back in like a couple weeks. But by then, we'll get you your own place. You'll be super set up. It'll be great.
Yeah.
And so Wander's like, okay, sure. As long as you say so. So they go, the only place they haven't been to yet is the kitchen, which they say they can't cook in the daytime because of the smoke. So they use it as a mess hall until the night. And this is when things get really awkward because of the fact that there are a lot of people in the kitchen and they're all looking at Wanderer.
Wander's like, hey, how y'all doing?
Hey. And
hey.
they're all trying to avoid contact with them. It's really awkward. It gets a little bit better when they see Jamie, which makes it obviously a little bit easier for them because Wander feels safer knowing where Jamie is.
Mm-hmm.
And Jamie, of course, is like very curious and wants to stick around with what he assumes is his sister, even though he's like a little bit cautious, but still quite curious. And he's like, I won't bother you. I just want to like stick around. And the same thing happens at the end of the chapter too with Ian and the doctor. And I guess I had assumed falsely a couple of chapters ago that Ian was the doctor.
Yeah.
And
I think I might have made that mistake too.
And apparently those are two different people.
There are more people in this novel than there should be.
I agree.
Too many J's, too many boys in jail.
There's too many people. But the chapter ends with just a gaggle of people walking around.
A little tour.
Just a tour where all but one of them has seen these caves before, but they just keep going around.
Maybe that's just a testament to how good Jeb is at giving tours.
Maybe.
They're like, oh, hell yeah. It's been a minute since I've been on one of these things. Let's go, everyone.
One thing that Jeb did mention on the tour is for Wander to be really careful because people would rather, I think he said something like they would rather stab you than say like, oh, excuse me, sorry. Oh,
right.
So maybe the idea is like the more people you have with you, the safer that you'll be.
Yeah.
But
they don't have those Midwestern sensibilities in the cave.
Right.
Yeah,
maybe.
It's a different land.
But the idea that like you could be walking with your sibling and instead of saying like, oh, my bad, you just stab him is wild. Because like, what are you going to do with that dead body? Where is it going to go?
Right.
But anyways, next week we have chapters 21 and 22. So we're getting there.
Ooh.
We're moving on.
Yeah.
But we've got a whole gaggle ourselves of patrons to thank.
Ooh, gather round, everyone.
Gather around
We're
the campfire.
heading to the tour.
Gather around. We got a tour to take. So hold hands.
Yes.
Don't lose yourselves because there's fucking hot springs. You could get hurt. So hold on tight. Know who's in front of you. Know their name. Know who's behind you. Know their name.
Yeah, get a buddy.
Get a buddy. Because the bathrooms here are pitch black.
Yeah.
So you need to have your fucking buddy wherever you go.
Yeah.
Because you don't need to fall in.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right. Buddies 1 and 2. Start off. All right. You want to go?
Oh, shout out to Mallory. Yes. Shout out to Mallory Hardwick.
Pew, 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 pew. Thank you to Katie Black.
Thank you, Kylie Minty.
Pew, 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 pew.
Pew.
Thank you to Elizabeth James.
Ow. Ooh.
Pew, pew, pew.
Shout out Jess Love.
Pew, 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 pew. Thank you to Alex Dornan.
Shout out Carrie Goldberg.
Pew, pew, pew,
Pew, pew.
Thank you to Mickey Meyer.
Ooh, yeah. Shout out Zoe Steele.
Pew, 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 pew.
Uh.
Thank you to Rebecca Cullen.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you, Amy Taylor.
Woo! Thank you to Mulch Gray.
Mulch. Shout out Taylor, Brown, Town, Lautner.
Thank you to Aaron Weber.
Ooh. Shout out Gwen Stanley.
Thank you to Jasmine Anastasia.
Ooh. Shout out Bailey Christian.
Thank you to Jay Molina.
Shout out Cassandra Bomer. Ooh.
Thank you to our mom, Kelly Beck.
Mom! Thank you, Aaron Salinger.
Thank you to Sophia Salinger.
Thank you to India Peach.
Thank you to Casey Yorkie.
Ow! Yeah! Shout out Sarah Blythe. Ooh.
And last but certainly not least, thank you to Lara or Laura 40.
Woo!
Do you know what I realized is super cool, but also wild? Is we usually sort these by, not like alphabetical, but we do them in bullet points, and we do them alphabetical, and we have the full alphabet now. What the fuck?
Oh my gosh. Guys.
Guys.
We can have no more or no fewer pages. We have made a...
You were locked in.
Our bullet system is going to be fucked.
You are locked in.
Sorry.
Okay. So I have something a little bit different this week.
Ooh. Yes.
Very
fun. Experimenting with the form.
It is a little bit experimental. This is not... It is camp.
Ooh.
When I first saw this, I thought it was fan fiction.
Okay.
It read like fan fiction. It intrigued me. It caught me. It was wild. And then I found out that it was a published work. It was real.
Oh boy.
It was real. This, and that's why I'm going to read less than usual. But what I'm going to read, folks, is going to knock your fucking socks off. This is written by the Deborah Gregory. And you might be thinking, but Allie, I don't know who that is. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Oh. This first sentence is from the titular tome. That is The Cheetah Girls Livin' Large, Book 1.
Wow.
And I read this book, Cody, and I couldn't believe it, but I did. I read this book in 2003.
Sure.
And when I first read this sentence, after so long, I thought that I was in a different time. If you are unfamiliar with what the Cheetah Girls are, here is just the smallest of blurbs. The Cheetah Girls are starring in a movie of their own on the Disney Channel in 2003. They're spicier than hot sauce and as cool as iced cappuccino. They outshine any diamond with their super duper inner sparkle.
Oh, God.
Here is the first 2 sentences of Chapter 1, Book 1. And it is going to knock your socks off, guaranteed. It is the most powerful thing I think I've ever read in my whole life. Keep in mind, if it has been a long time since you have read or experienced the Cheetah Girls, that these Cheetah Girls, specifically Galleria, had a dog named Toto. Just so that you don't think that you are watching The Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
Okay. Toto must think my toes are dipped in barbecue sauce, the way he is trying to sneak a chomperoni with his pointy fangs. I must have just painted my toenails in a purpley glitter shade called Pow by Snaps Cosmetics and am lying on my bed with my feet dangling to the winds so they can dry.
Wow. Oh my God. How did that not win the National Book Award?
How is that not a Hugo winning first paragraph?
Oh my God. Wow.
A chomperoni.
I mean, I'm sold.
Sorry?
A chomperoni. I'm adopting it to my language for anything I eat.
Sorry.
Anytime I take a bite of something, that is a chomperoni.
Can you not tell me that pointy fangs, when I Google pointy fangs and I get this, is not vampire fan fiction? So, sorry.
Yeah. Wow.
Sorry. Anyways, that is powerful, and if you are reading something that has that kind of energy, please send it my way. I'm happy to read it as treasured art on the show.
Absolutely.
So as we say, here in the Pacific Northwest,
get bit.
At fucking with your pointy fangs, folks. Get bit.
Yes.
And get whipped with Snap Cosmetics.
Yes, absolutely. Oh my God.
Into the Twilight is an Earbud Media production. Our theme music is by Eli Krause, and our artwork is by Maddie Padilla. Follow the show on Twitter at Into the Twilight, and support us on Patreon at patreon.com/intothetwilight. Send us an email or a fanfiction at intothetwilightshow@gmail.com. You can find Allie at Into Wild Places and me at Cody Crow.
You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media, audio for everyone.